Ready to mute your shit.
And we're live.
All right. We are live for another Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate here on the Arrow Title Services page. We are super excited to be back here sharing the good news of real estate with you guys. There's a lot going on. If you guys have friends who are realtors or people who are in the real estate industry and you've been seeing them all out and about there, we're all kind of running around with like a chicken with our heads cut off because it's just crazy, but it is all good information. And we come on here live to share with you guys what's going on, exactly the best tips for you guys to know, especially from the buying side of things, but even the selling side of things. And we just want to educate you so that you guys know how to best approach this market. And we do this with local realtors and lenders along the Treasure Coast of Florida here who are in this every single day, rocking it. So we are very appreciative for the local professionals who come on here to share their big brains of real estate with us. And we are going to get right into this topic. We do a couple of different ways in the which way we run this. So the first section is we have each of these professionals tell us a little bit about their perspective, and then we go into the discussion portion. So we'll kind of feed off of each other and go back and forth. If you guys have questions, feel free to chime in the comments. We would love to help you guys out. And then we go into our number one top tip of the week, because this is Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. So we'll get started here right now. And we are going to start it off with Alannah. So Alannah, take it away. And guys, don't forget to introduce yourselves.
Yes, ma'am. You got it. Everybody, I'm Alannah. I'm with eXp Realty, and I'm here to bring up something that is coming up in conversations regularly in my day-to-day business. I'm hearing a lot of, well, we're going to hold off until the prices get lower so then we can buy. Whatever that entails, wherever they're expecting that shift to happen, can I be the first to say that that doesn't make sense? On a business level, on a personal level, you absolutely want to invest the time in a conversation about whether your borrowing power, in other words, what you can borrow, is that a better shakedown when the numbers are broken down by a lender professional, shameless plug. When you have that conversation with them, you can identify whether a lower sales price with a higher interest rate will actually serve you better than a higher sales price with a lower interest rate. And just to be very clear, in our current marketplace, our interest rates are absolutely supporting our local home buyers and making it very possible. It's a very empowering market right now on a money level. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. But I wanted to throw that right out there. The time is not later. The time to have conversations is right now.
Absolutely, Alannah. I love that addition to the conversation, as well as, I think some people get a little bit hindered by the fact of like, well, maybe I'm not ready right now, or they might be ready in a few months or 6 months down their line. And it's never too early to start that conversation, because you might not know exactly what means you're ready in the sense of where our market's at and how that all works. So great points to start us off on a great conversation. We're going to pass it along to Eric. Take it away, Eric.
Thank you, Lucie, for this wonderful platform. My name is Eric Griemsmann with eXp Realty. Just wanted to touch a little bit more on what Alannah was saying. Is I strongly suggest, and all of us professionals would strongly suggest, talking to your local lenders and talking to your local realtors right away. Like you said, they can give you insight on, well, if now is a good time for you or not, because like these interest rates aren't always going to be as low as they are right now. They will go up. They will, it may be years, but they will eventually get back to where they were. And then you'll have to wait for the next time for them to go down again. One of the main things that I've been hearing is the limited inventory. We are still seeing very limited inventory, especially in Port St. Lucie. I believe I ran the numbers the other day. There's still 17 days of inventory on market right now, which means that if there was no other listings to hit the market, we would be out of listings in 17 days. And there are so many buyers out there right now that need places to live. So just allowing, if it's in your best interest to sell, I think it's a great idea. As far as prices going down right now, we don't foresee them as local professionals at the moment. I've always spoke about this. I think what's happening in the market right now is that it's creating a new baseline. You're not going to find these 3.2s for 250 or below anymore. I think they're going to continue to keep going up. And when the market does downturn, you'll probably find them for 275, 300, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit, and I'm going to let my fellow realtors discuss more with it, and let my friend Eric Rosberg touch on the lending side of that. So back to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric. Really, really great points. And I think that for locals who are staying in this area, it really becomes pertinent because a lot of us have been here for so long. So we see how prices used to be. And then we're like, well, why can't we have that again? And it's just now Port St. Lucie and the Treasure Coast really, and Martin County have really become up on the map. People are starting to know about it. It's a word of mouth type of area. And as that happens and more people know about it, more people find our little treasure here on the Treasure Coast, which in turn brings more people here and more opportunities for people to purchase into this area and grow this area, which we've all seen a massive growth. So yeah, absolutely great points, that new baseline, because I think people are expecting it to go back to that aspect, but it's not like that's not happening. Less people aren't finding out about our area. Less people aren't. We live in a really beautiful area that's been a secret for quite a bit of time. But yeah, we'll pass it along to Eric Rosberg, who is going to give us a perspective on the other side of things in regards to lending, which is such an important piece of the process. So take it away, Eric. Tell us, share your brain.
I don't know if you want my full brain, but I am super excited, Lucie. Thank you for having me. Eric Rosberg with Team Rosberg at Cross Country Mortgage, and talking about market opportunities. There's some huge stuff that just came through. If you're borrowing, there's been in the market. There's been a lot of frustration for people who qualified maybe only for FHA, and they weren't getting their offers weren't getting approved because it was an FHA. There's nothing wrong with an FHA loan. Fannie Mae just changed. So this is kind of top tip announcement altogether. I'm super excited about this. So Fannie Mae has changed the way they're looking at credit scores. This is very important for multiple borrowers. Before, it was the middle score of the lowest borrower. So if you were under 620, you had to go FHA. We couldn't do a conventional product. Now, if the middle score is above, meaning if you have a 619, let's make the math easy for me right now because my brain's fried, a 600 and a 650, now you're at 625, now you qualify. This is huge for realtors, for borrowers. For this now enables you potentially to be qualified for a conventional. That's going to be a stronger offer in the eyes of the listing agent, even though in the mortgage side that they're all good loans. But that's the perception. This is a huge market opportunity for people who just kind of gave up. They got outbid. It's a win-win-win scenario, and I'm super pumped for it. So that's what I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Very valuable information. And you're right, there is definitely a stigma of the FHA and even VA loans. And it's like, listen, they're getting money. Okay. If they got a loan, they got a loan. If they said they can get the money, they can get the money. It's pretty much as simple as that. There's different, how the mortgage is being worked on the back end doesn't matter what the fact of the money is there. That's it. It's there. So, we're obviously seeing a lot of influx of cash in our market as well. So that's a huge piece of the puzzle because people are coming from these areas, but we'll get into that maybe a little discussion portion. But great information, Eric. And awesome to hear that those people might have like a slimmer of hope to. It's really just that perception on that side of things. So we're going to go ahead and pass it along to Jessica. Jessica, please share your thoughts on the subject.
Hey guys, thanks Lucie so much for having me again. Jessica Cazabat, NextHome Treasure Coast at follow the orange Frenchie. I have two things I wanted to touch on today. First of all, you guys know I'm a numbers person. I'm a nut about market stats now. So I just want to throw it out there. A lot of people, and I had other realtors say that they're being asked if we are seeing foreclosures. I haven't seen it yet. If other people have, please say. I haven't seen it yet. And haven't even really heard people talking about short sales yet. But what I have heard, Palm Beach County, July 2021, market inventory, 1.5 months of inventory. That is low, y'all. Keep in mind that in a balanced market, we generally see 6 to 7 months of inventory, and then we move into a buyer's market, so to speak. We usually have like 8 months plus. Right now, we are still seeing very low inventory. So I've seen a bunch of real estate articles come out and they're talking about, oh, the market is slowing down or we're seeing more inventory. Where? Not here, because I'm not seeing it here. Really quickly, Martin County, July 2021, 1.2 months of inventory. In St. Lucie County, 1.1. So use that information and keep that as you will. Touching back on Eric and Eric's info, I saw a fantastic thing that came through with Fannie Mae, is that they are now taking into account that if you are a renter and you are paying your rent on time, and you can show it from bank statements or some sort of document from your landlord that says that you are paying your rent on time, and you can show that there's a continuity of history that you're paying that rent on time, Fannie Mae will take that into effect to take that into consideration when they're considering approving you for a loan. So I think that is a fantastic and a big win for renters when they're struggling with that, where they're trying to figure out how to get approved, if they can get approved. So if you have that going into effect, which I believe is September 19th, September 5th, September something in there, I think that's a really big win for renters. Just like everyone else says, mortgage rates are still historically low. We're still in those sub threes back and forth. So if you can, and if you're able to, you have first, last, and security. I'll say it again, first, last, and security on a $2,000 a month rent, that's $8,000. Find $4,000, we can get you into a house on FHA. I mean, it's doable, it's possible. Positive outlook, positive vibes, and think that you can do it. Home ownership is a mindset, y'all.
Boom. I love that. Should have loved that. Boom. You're absolutely right, Jess. There is so much. And that's why I mentioned earlier, like, have that conversation, start that conversation with your local lender and realtor, because those aspects of what you may consider being ready, you may not understand how ready you are, or what those pieces that you may need to tweak to be able to be ready are, until you have that conversation, which the conversation's always free to have. And there are so many things changing in the sense of the renters world too. A lot of times those renters, unless there's certain circumstances, they're able to get into a house, and they just don't think that they can. There's like a can't mentality sometimes with like owning a home. And it really just, there's so much more behind it. So that's what we're here for. That's why we're doing these top tips, so that we can share that knowledge with you guys, and you guys can be a better informed as to what is going on just in our market and how those pieces can connect and potentially get you into a home. And those numbers as well, very much appreciate those too, Jess, because those numbers really give insight as to where our market's at, and especially comparing it to last year, showing that like last year we had a boom in July, August, like it was crazy, which it never really happens in the summer for us. And it's comparable this year as well, which is insane. It's like, where did our season go? Because usually summer is like our slow season, and then like it's wild. Things are changing all the time, but that's why it's important to have these conversations. All right, we're going to pass it along to Peter for our final segment here, and then we'll get into our discussion portion, which I'm excited to hear what everyone has to add. So Peter, take it away.
Hey, thank you for having me, Lucie. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Negron from Barron Real Estate. And I want to talk to you about some of the other advantages that we have in this market. For instance, I don't know if everybody's noticed, but I've noticed for sure that there are a lot of listings that are staying on the market for longer periods of time. Now, in essence, a lot of people that are coming in with cash deals, they're wanting to walk into a home that's fully, completely done. There's nothing that they have to do to it, and they're putting as much possible cash as they can down on those homes. And that's why we're having a lot of these problems here with FHA, VA, and even conventional loans. So I would do a couple of things really, especially if you're having a problem with your VA or FHA loan getting accepted. I would reach back out to your lender and see if maybe you do qualify for a conventional loan, because maybe you started off on the FHA or the VA process, but just because of the way that the market is, you're able to apply for a conventional loan. You have the accessible funds to do so. So you might as well try to go forward and see if that you can actually change your loan product into a conventional loan to give yourself a little bit more of an edge out there while you're looking for a property. Another thing that I wanted to point out as a market opportunity is obviously cash buyers. You know, if you're purchasing cash and you're coming down here cash in hand, a lot of those deals are getting accepted as long as they're at the right price point. So if you want to, you know, subvert the negotiation process and you do have the cash on hand, you know, that's definitely a viable option for you. But as far as these conventional loans, they're really competing with these other loan products that people are used to using, like the FHA and VA loans. And some conventional loans you have to put as little down as 5%. And, you know, if you're talking about the difference between an FHA and VA, it's really a very small percentage at that point if you can't qualify for something like that. So I would definitely dig into the numbers, you know, go out to your trusted lender and really have these strong conversations, because if you're really starting to get over the hump as a buyer and saying to yourself, oh man, you know, I'm really struggling here getting my loan accepted, there's other options for you. You can go out there and you can have those questions answered for you by your lender. Your realtor might know a little bit about it, but it would be better to just reach out to your lender and see if they can help you out in that sense. And that'll just make that offer that you're putting in that much stronger. Another opportunity is if you're a seller. Now, I'm going to go over some of the things that sellers usually say to me when I'm sitting down with them with a listing appointment. You know, so the sellers will tell me, oh yeah, you know, I'd love to sell my house at this great price point, but where am I going to go? Or what am I going to do from here? It's all about proper planning. If you plan it out properly, you know, there's things that you can add to the contract to give you a little more time before you move out. You know, if you don't have the pressure to move right here at this point in time, you just want to see what kind of return you're going to get for your property and see if maybe that idea in the back of your mind of you moving to another city or another county, you know, if that's something that could be done once the plan is all put into works, then maybe that's something that you should think about. But obviously, the sellers are having no problem selling their homes at this time. They might be under contract once, twice, 3 times. It really doesn't matter. If you have your house on the market, it will sell. But that all goes into the plan. So reach out to your trusted realtor, reach out to your trusted lender, get that plan in action now. That way, once it does come time for you to either buy or sell, then you're able to properly put that plan into place with some real information behind it.
Absolutely. Great information. Peter, thank you for sharing that. And those conversations with your lender, I mean, there's so many options that different lenders offer. And, you know, don't be afraid to talk to, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 if you need to make sure that you're working with someone who is going to be communicative with you and help you through that process that can be very difficult. So I know that the lenders who come on here are amazing, like Eric. They truly will help you and guide you through the process if you don't know where to go for a lender. So as well as the realtors on here, I mean, everybody who's on these live calls is giving time out of their busy schedules to be able to share this information with you guys, because it's really important. And we all know how important it is to get this information out there to everyone. And sometimes it's not so easy to get that information. Like, it's like Googling what's going on with homes. Okay, well, you could get a lot of things with that, you know? So we're like, let's just talk directly to the source here on Facebook. And we've been doing these videos now for over a year. We have a whole YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services. You can go to our YouTube channel and see all of the topics that we've talked about. We do different topics each week that we do these. So we want to give you that valuable information that can help you guiding yourself a little bit further along that path. And to the point that Peter had mentioned about like those numbers and knowing what you're going to get, you know, having the conversation with the realtor at the end of the day, you can actually, they can even put together a seller net sheet for you to like kind of show you exactly what you're going to get if you sell your house at this price and like what kind of the fees are going to look like, et cetera, et cetera. You can work with your lender. And we actually have on our app, that's on our website and everything, you can actually create a seller net sheet from there too, get our fees, et cetera, and you could break it down for clients or just yourself. You can get a quote, a title quote. So there's a lot of pieces there to help you and navigate that correct decision and what's going to be best for you. So definitely valuable information. Thank you, Peter. And thanks to everybody who mentioned all of the great information that we've already gone over so far. If you're watching live and you missed what we've been talking about, you can always rewatch these videos on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services, or here on Facebook. But we are going to go into the discussion portion where we all have reflected on what everyone's mentioned, and we're going to add some extra nuggets, anything that's missing or something that's popped up along the way, and then we'll go into our top tips section. So anybody have anything that they want to add to the conversation? Alannah?
Lovely. So I love what all these professionals have brought to the table, particularly Peter, your insight is great. And I want to take it even a step farther because I feel like all of us are kind of leading up to the same thing. And that's other professionals that we do business with. This is for you. This is an opportunity for you to professionally manage your clients' expectations and identify what their priorities are, because every client I work with is different. Their needs are different, their time frame is different, where they plan to go and what their next steps look like are unique. And so we have the opportunity on the front end to curtail so many of the obstacles that come up as objections that are preventing these listings from actually going onto the market at all. We have so many opportunities to step up our game. And if you're unsure where to start, I want to challenge you to get connected with the other agents and other professionals on this call right now, because I know that every single person in this lineup is ready to have those collaborative conversations on how we can, as a unit, bring our market into a more stable place, help bolster the inventory coming live, and help make our other professionals shine, because when they look good, we look good, and we're all about that. So I wanted to throw that out there because that's going to solve a lot of the objections coming up that's preventing these listings.
I wanted to jump on and also piggyback off of Peter's good info and Alannah's great info. Looking at market stats, Palm Beach County, Martin County, and St. Lucie County, homes are selling for 100% of ask. So to those cash buyers that are coming down thinking that you're going to come down and lowball these sellers, if they're working with a real estate professional that is hip to the numbers, they're going to tell you where you can take that money and go, not here. So just be aware of that. If you're going to come, even for FHA buyers don't have, never fear. If you know that sellers are getting 100% of their ask price, don't come in there asking for 5, 10 below, because that's not it. I predict that when numbers come out next month, we're going to see selling prices on average 101%, 102% of sales. So when you get with your real estate professional, let them know that you want to be competitive. We're always talking about how you can be competitive as a buyer. And one of those ways is contract terms. If you can close fast, great. If you can waive inspections or appraisals, great. But money talks. And in this real estate market, that's where people are looking right now. People are zeroing in on those dollar signs. So if you have a house that's 300 and you want this house, and you've been offering lower or at ask, and you're tired of having your offers rejected, why don't you go in at 305? Why don't you go in at 310? Catch them on the back end when you're in inspections and you're like, well, we might need to negotiate something. But I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And this is something that we have tagged on many, many times in this talk, is mitigating those expectations and being realistic in this market.
I think that's a great point. And I think it's also important to make sure that we're conveying that it's not just dollar signs. We have so many other terms to play with, truly. We can play with the flexibility with our extended closings. We can do leaseback options. We can be flexible with little projects that need doing that maybe the seller doesn't want to invest the time or effort in because they've obviously got a lot of other stuff on their plate. There are so many ways to be competitive that when you express what you need to your professional, they can be able to guide you, period.
Extended closings for the win.
Well, and, not lying about anything or not hiding any information. There's some people we've talked to and they're like, well, I don't know if I need to say this or whatever. It's like, tell them everything. They know everything.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, because if they don't know, if we don't know, we can't help you. So all of those points are so important, and having that conversation, knowing that expectation. And I think it is really hard. I think it's hardest on the locals right now, because the locals, again, they know what those prices used to be, and they think that they're overpaying for a home. But again, word of mouth does not go backwards. It is something that is going to continue to grow, and this area is going to continue to grow. If you've lived here for any period of time, if you just go drive out onto Becker Road or Crosstown, you'll see how much that it's grown, and it's not going to stop. So there's a lot of people coming in this way, a lot of businesses and time and energy and people, that it's going to continue to grow. So your home value will continue to grow as well. So I think that people aren't thinking about like, hey, 20 years ago, yeah, it was super cheap, or even 10 years ago, it was super cheap. But now look at where those homeowners are now. They're sitting pretty, aren't they?
Right,
so
for sure.
Yeah, so if you purchase a home now, I just bought a home in April and I'm sitting pretty. So it's like, I think that people have to think long-term of, it's like you said, homeownership is a mindset. Is this something that's gonna be a long-term investment for you? If yes, you don't need to worry about where the market's gonna be in a year. All you need to do is, can you afford your mortgage, which you have to afford where you're going to live anyways, whether it's rent or mortgage, you have to afford a place to live regardless. So
right. And I think people need to get it out of their head, this whole overpaying. It's not that you're overpaying. This is where appreciation, every year, money inflates, the dollar inflates. We're fighting for a higher, minimum wage. This is where appreciation has brought us. So it's not, you're overpaying implies that a year from now, 5 years from now, we're going to go back to 20-year ago prices. That's not happened. And I don't see a crash, like a 2028 crash on the horizon. But even if there is a market adjustment or a market correction, values might pop down 10, 15 grand in the grand scheme of things. What you're going to end up paying on interest, waiting for that $15,000 drop, when you're paying 5 and 6% on your mortgage rate, that's you're now having to buy less house for more money because it's costing you more money to borrow said money versus getting an interest rate at 2.75 or 3.25 or even a little bit higher because you need that down payment assisted programs that are still available. So I really think we need to get away from this people saying that homes are overpriced. It's not overpriced, it's inflation. And we have millions of people moving to Florida every day. So even if we do see the market adjusting or even taking a bit of a dip, we don't see that in Florida right now, in all honesty. And I think people just need to bear that in mind.
Yeah, we need to get with the program. And like Eric Griemsmann said, he pointed it out perfectly. I think he said it just right. The baseline is changing. The baseline is not going to go back to the baseline 15 years ago. It's just not happening. Everything else is moving up and we don't mind it when it's working for us. So let's make a game plan to shape it to work for us.
Well, I'm glad you guys touched on that because what I wanted to keep saying is like, don't miss the boat. Right? Like everybody keeps talking, well, I'm going to overpay for this. Well, you're really not going to overpay because like Jessica and everybody on this call has basically said is it's even with a dip, it's going to not dip as much as you think it's going to dip. And if you miss the boat year, 2, 3 years from now, you're going to be like, oh my God, I should have bought when it was 300,000, now they're 400,000 or whatever the case may be. Like
how many of us on this call have heard somebody go, oh, I should have bought last year? Raise your hand.
I know. So just great points. And, I loved what Peter was saying as well, who had great information on top of everything. One of the questions I wanted to bring up for Eric Rosberg was, correct me if I'm wrong, is then with the down payment assistance program, didn't they up how much you can actually get now as well on those programs, or is that something different than I'm thinking about?
That is something different that I
Okay.
am not aware of, but I tell you what, I'll look into it. And I have not received anything across my desk
Okay, I thought there was
about
something.
any increases in that.
Okay, because I thought I heard something about something was going from like $5,000 to up to like $10,000 that you can actually get now towards a home or something. But
Oh, are
like
you talking
said,
about first-time homebuyer programs?
it might be. I just heard from one of the lenders say something about that.
So, and that's the thing too with like lenders, there's a bunch of lenders with different programs and such. And then there's first time home buyer programs as well. And there's like a million of those. So it's like, they all have their different categories or what are qualifications, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why it's so important to start that conversation with lenders, because they're the ones that are going to be able to guide you and say, this is what is available to you in your specific situation, because every real estate transaction is different. Every real estate transaction is very intricate and has different pieces that fit into that puzzle. Go ahead, Peter.
I just had something really quick to say to it. I know that there's a lot of buyers out there that are renting at this point in time. So if this in particular question keeps on popping up in your mind, just keep this in mind. If you're paying anything over $1,500 a month for rent, you end up paying $17,000 to someone else's mortgage for that whole year. So who are you really helping at that point by not jumping in the market as soon as you can? I can almost understand it if you have a home already and you're not looking to upgrade quite right now. But if you're renting and the reason why it's deterring you is because of the home prices at this point, you're not putting any of your monthly home, the money that you're making towards your home is not going to you. It's going directly to someone else. So do yourself a favor and at least open up the conversation. At least know what your options are, because you never know. You could be renting right now for more than what you would purchase a home at that same square footage that you're renting it. So it doesn't hurt to open up the conversation. It's not going to break the wallet to open up the conversation. Nobody's going to ask for any money to ask these questions. I promise you that.
Yep,
Yeah,
the conversation is free.
Yeah,
Right.
and you're paying someone else's
honestly,
mortgage. They have a mortgage.
Yeah,
most likely.
I haven't met anybody yet that has said, Peter, I am so disappointed that you sold me that home. Nobody has said that to me. So I would really think about at least having that conversation with people. It's really, I know it's a hard conversation because it has to do with finances to a point, but the lenders are better to have those conversations with anyways. The realtors are just the ones that can kind of give you an understanding of what's going on in the market and where your advantages are, just like this conversation that we're having right now.
So if I could hop in, Peter, I love what you just said. One thing I didn't love is you said the conventional is 5%. It's as low as 3%. So that's even lower than FHA. But and this brings up something that literally happened this week. And it's going to correlate to exactly what you said. It's never too soon to put that plan into place. If you at some point in your life, you want to own a house, condo, whatever you want to own, it's never too soon to say, hey, what do I need to do? I got a phone call. I started working with this client over a year ago, and we walked through what she needed to do. Well, she's gotten like 3 raises since then. Her income is way up. She's paid off a ton of debt. She's paid everything on time. Her credit score has gone up. And I've just followed up every couple months. She's ready to go. But that's the prime example of, hey, here's my situation. What do I, we crawl before we walk. Like, no professional athlete just starts out in the NHL or NFL. They're coached through it. And I love basically what you said is we're all coaches. We're here to guide and teach and work with people that want to learn and do it. So that was awesome.
Can I add something to that? Even is exactly what Eric's saying is if you're going to talk to a lender, and as a realtor, because what I do with my clients is I actually get on a 3-way call. I sit there, I learn what the lender is saying, because it helps me to better my business, because I know what's going on in the lending side as well. But a lender is able to run reports and say, all right, you need to do X, X, and X to get your credit where it needs to be. Now, when I say this, though, also is if you're not going to take the necessary steps to fixing what they're talking about, we're not here to waste anybody's time. And I'm not trying to be like mean or anything like that, but is like, you got to, if this is what you truly want to do, you must take the steps that they are suggesting to you to get to where you need to be in order to purchase that house.
Are you suggesting, Eric, that to see results, you have to do the action after it's laid out by your professional team?
That is actually what I'm trying to say. I know it sounds so crazy, but it happens all the time. We have these conversations with clients and they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then 6 months from there, did you happen to do what Eric mentioned? No, we had to put it on the back burner. Okay, that's fine. But if you are serious and really want your goal to be a homeowner, you must take the actions to make it work.
Absolutely. I love it. And making sure you're piecing together your dream team, which are all available on this call. These amazing local professionals have just blown, hopefully, your mind with some great information, because there is so many pieces in the puzzle. And each of these professionals are willing to sit down and have that conversation with you. And as you can see, there's multiple realtors on here. And usually we have a couple of lenders as well. And we're all working together to make this happen for you. Every person on here wants to make sure that the process is seamless for you and that you understand what's going on. You need a realtor, a lender, and a title company to create your dream team so that you can finally get past that point of purchasing that home and just getting in the situation. And I swear, if you have the right team on your side, it will be a piece of cake. It'll be a piece of cake.
Yes.
So thank you guys for sharing your big brains in real estate with us. This is Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. And I know you guys have been dropping gems all throughout, which if you guys are just tuning in now, make sure you guys rewatch what we've just mentioned. It was a great conversation, great insight from local professionals. And you can always rewatch on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services, as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to our channel over there and see the other topics that we've done. But let's go ahead. Oh, and you can also go to, make sure you guys follow these local professionals on their Facebook pages, because they always post information on there as well. Whether you're ready now or later or whenever, it's great to stay tuned to what they're doing because they always put out great information. So just wanted to drop that in there as well. And let's get into the number one top tip of the week, because this is Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. And every week things are changing. So let's see, Alannah, what is your number one top tip of the week?
Oh, all right. Alannah with EXP, for those of you who've forgotten. My top tip this week is be clear with your goals. Understand where you want to go so that by the time you're having a conversation with somebody, you can express it so that they can help you create that roadmap.
Ooh, love it. Look at that. Dropping gems. Thanks, Alannah. All right, Eric, what's your top tip?
This is Eric Griemsmann at eXp Realty. I actually got a couple things. First thing is, if you're another agent, just remember that we are a team. We are not out there to be separated. We are a team to work together to help both of our clients make it to the closing table and achieve their dreams. And the second tip to go along with this segment is, please talk to your local lender. They can help you out significantly in the whole process.
Love it. Absolutely. Teamwork's the dream work. Thanks, Eric. And that brings us to the next Eric on stage here. And from the mortgage side of things, what is your number one top tip of the week, Eric?
This top tip goes out to all realtors. If you were working with somebody and there was 2 people trying to get approved on a mortgage, reach out to them. Go back through your database for the last 12 months. This is a great opportunity for you to reconnect and possibly things have changed, the new guidelines, this is a great way to get people into houses. So go through your pipeline, reach out to them and give me a call.
Love it. Love it. And you can even share this video with them. Yeah, love it. All right, Jess, what do you got for us?
All right, so I'm gonna send this out to the renters. So I have a couple of renters that I put into a home 2 years ago, and they reached out to me back in May, and they're like, Jessica, our lease is coming up. What should we do? Is the seller gonna sell? Because a lot of people right now are running into the issue that they're on month-to-month leases. Their landlord has decided to sell, and now they're scrambling in this market to find some place to live. This is gonna go out to you guys. If you are on a month-to-month lease, get into a lease, like a long-term lease now. Reach out to your landlord and be like, look, I'm trying to get my life together and I want to be able to purchase in a year. Can you put me into a 1-year contract so that I can move forward in a year so that I can buy a house? If I ran into a young lady who said she's been on a month-to-month lease for 5 years and she just got a 30-day notice to vacate. This is not a safe place to be in this market. And I would leave with that. Go to your landlord before they are even thinking or considering of selling, and get yourself into a lease to protect yourself. We have landlord rights and we have tenant rights here in Florida. Being on a month-to-month lease is not it. You need to get into a long-term lease. I advised my people they're not interested in buying at this time. They just came out of we're coming out of a 2-year lease. I said, go ahead and reach out to the landlord and tell her you want to get in for another 2-year lease. Now, I know she wants to hold this property and there was really not much of a danger, but I told them as renters, I don't want them back in this market if at all possible. So they went to the landlord, said, hey, we love living here. Can we get another, 2-year lease or a year lease in 364 days? She said, yeah, no problem, bet. So I got them 3 months before their lease was up, that worry off their back that their landlord was going to come to them with the dreaded, hey, we're selling, here's your non-lease renewal, here's your 30-day to vacate. So if you're in a situation where you're renting and you can't buy right now, please make sure that you're doing everything that you can to protect yourself so that you're not surprised with this awful news. If you don't know what you should be doing, once again, reach out to your real estate professionals. We can lead you and guide you. We can partner you with the lender so that you can, if it's credit that's holding you back, get you on the path to looking at your credit report to seeing what we can do so that a year from now you have the appropriate credit score. Don't put yourself in a bad situation if at all possible. And if you don't know what to do, ask. Please, please, please.
I love that, Jess. Great top tip. And, really just showing that we're all here to help everyone. It's not just to, we're all here to help you. It's not about making the next sale or whatever it might be. It's about getting you in the proper situation that's going to be best for your situation specifically. So we all just want to help and we want to guide you in the best way possible for your situation. And that can only start with a proper conversation. And if we know that it's difficult and we're in this every single day, all of us are learning new things every single day because things change every single day in our market. So we are navigating it every day, and it's very hard to come off from never being in this market or never knowing anything and then thinking that you're going to be able to smooth sail without any help. It's not a bad, sometimes it's a really good thing to ask for help, and we're always here to help. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it to Peter. What is your number one top tip of the week?
My number one top tip of the week, and this is for buyers and sellers, is be willing to negotiate. Be willing to negotiate, because honestly, we're trying to do our best here to do what's in your best interest. But if you're putting up a wall before we even have the contract ink dry, then, we're not going to have a really smooth transaction at this point. Set up your boundaries with your real estate professional. Let them know what you're willing to go up, down, sideways, whatever the case may be. Whatever you're willing to negotiate, put all the cards on the table in the beginning. That way you don't have to have these rough conversations. The realtor could just come to you and say, hey, listen, he didn't quite meet the threshold that you guys presented to me, but this is what they came forward with. Maybe that conversation will be a little bit easier when you guys have your limitations at that point too. But please, please don't come into this thinking that because the market is either so high or because there's so much limited supply, or, you know, on the buyer side, if you think, oh, because the house stayed on the market for so long, you know, don't think that it's time to not negotiate. You know, it's always a negotiation until the contract is solid and it's moving forward to the closing table. And believe me, your realtor will let you know that. So be willing to negotiate. Don't be, you know, so firm in your stance, you know, walking into the deal, or be specifying exactly dollar amount that you're trying to walk away with, you know, because this is a fluid conversation, and until you actually make it to the closing table, nothing is promised. So just be willing to negotiate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great advice. And the realtors at the end of the day are that negotiation piece for you. They will navigate that for you and have that communication with you. And I know that there are some people out there that have maybe had bad experiences with realtors in the past, but do not think that that is speaking for all realtors, because if you have the right realtor professional on your side, you will be steam plowing through this and doing getting what you need and what you want in the process. You just really have to communicate. You need someone who's going to communicate, and every person on here, all the local professionals from a realtor side, lending side, title company side, communication is important in the process. That's my number one top tip of the week. Communication. Talk, tell us, let's talk, let's have that conversation. Don't be afraid to share. I know that, you know, if it's something that's on your mind and you're like, well, what if it keeps me from this? It's like, and you don't want to share it, that's even more reason to share it, because that's probably one thing that could affect something. And if maybe it doesn't matter, maybe it's something that isn't a big deal and you're worrying about something that you don't even need to be worrying about. We're here to alleviate that process and guide you along those potential speed bumps that might come along, or navigate you around them. So that is what we're here for. Guys, I love this. You guys, it's always a pleasure to have you guys on here. Thank you. If you guys are tuning in right now, thanks for chiming in to our Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate, where we come on and share local top tips in our local market here along the Treasure Coast. And just a quick little reminder that if you guys are watching the news about what's going on in real estate, et cetera, it's very important to get local information to where you are at, which is why we are doing this segment and why we've been doing this segment for the last year and a half, because it's been very important to keep on top of what exactly is going on in our local market, even if there's something else going on, even on the other side of Florida or in another state. So it's all correlated, but very different at the same time. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us at Arrow Title Services, or you can reach out to the local professionals who are on here as well. If you have something specific about what they've mentioned, they're all available. You can reach out to them on their Facebook pages, which is linked in the description of this video. Like their pages anyways, and make sure that if you guys enjoy this video, you give it a big thumbs up. Maybe even share it on your page, share it with a friend, because it's valuable information that we just wanted to put out there for free for you guys. So we hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. And until next time, where we'll have a new topic on real estate, make sure you guys stay tuned on the Arrow Title page, and we will see you then. So thank you all to the local professionals on here, and we will see you again soon. Bye.